this week, and a couple of weeks back as well, I have been playing Bertil Horberg's second game. Well, it actually is his third game, but it's his second game in a kind of, because his first two games were in a series of Gunman Clive, and I don't know if you've played any of those two.
No, I haven't actually.
2D platformers in a kind of Mega Man kind of style. Very difficult. You get hit once, you are dead. Both of those I rate highly. Very short games, just like Mega Man itself. And then he went on to make Mechstermination Force, which is the game I'm going to be talking about. It's very similar in style. It's a 2D platform shooter. It takes a lot, if you played, anybody's played the Gunman Clive games, it takes a lot of the end bosses of Gunman Clive and their kind of movement and their kind of patterns of movement and where you need to shoot that enemy. And it does it in a kind of boss rush mode. So basically the story is that there's these huge transforming robot bosses who are taking over the world, and you as this, I mean, you are very small on the screen. This tiny little character on the screen with this huge mech standing next to it. You have a specific gun, and you can select through a number of guns, which I'll talk about in a short time, and you've got to take down the boss. And, I mean, it's completely over the top. It's really bright and colourful. That's one of his plus points, I think. It's got this really good style. And so it's this action shooter, a bit like Contra, and huge transforming bosses. Use the B button to jump, and it's got that kind of thing, just like Gunman Clive, where it's a little bit floaty in its mechanic. You can press down Y and hold down Y, so you get a continuous shot, and then you've got this X button, which is a melee attack, so it's for close range. So each boss can be shot in specific locations. Normally you can shoot off the armor around the boss, and then you can climb up them with the ZL button to latch onto them. And then when you get to a red core, that's what you need to melee. They won't take any shooting damage. So at some point during the boss fight, you're going to have to climb up it and smack it a couple of times to take it down, normally the final couple of hits. You get hearts for health, and you start off with 5, but like everything in this game, it can be upgraded. You basically earn coins by defeating bosses, and you're going to have to grind to defeat the same boss over and over again to collect so many coins to buy more hearts, and every time you buy a heart, the price goes up. But you can also buy different weapons. And the weapons are quite cool. You start with just like a Contra gun, which shoots out in a straight line, these balls of energy. And you got things like flamethrowers, laser cannons, 3-way spread gun, which is very, very handy for some bosses, a grenade launcher, which obviously goes in an arced and a shorter range, takes a long time to get across the screen, but does a lot of damage. And the last one's an ion cannon, which is very slow again, but immensely powerful. So you need to take into consideration how you're going to attack the boss, because some are very vertical. There's one in particular that you have to break panels away, then climb up inside him while his arms are shooting bits through his body. And as you're climbing up, and you think, well, I'm inside it, so a laser will bounce around off walls. So, for example, in there, a laser is perfect. But for something where you're outside of it and at a distance, maybe an ion cannon's better. So every single boss is completely different, and there are, and I forget, a total of... I've lost it. I didn't write it down. There are I'd say about 12 different bosses in this game, each with a unique patterns, each with a unique size. There are a centipede boss which runs across the screen and turns into a big circle, so you're inside its kind of wheel while you're blasting away and jumping and dodging things. And I think this game is far better in 2-player than 1-player. 1-player, the onus is on you. One little mistake, one little lost heart, and you're in trouble. And when there's 2 players, at least one can back off and take some long-range shots while the other one's getting in there. If they die, then the other one can take over. So you basically got 2 chances in one. But this is a hard-as-nails boss battler. Like I said, jumping is a little floaty, does require a little bit of learning, and some of the boss's moves can be frustrating in the beginning because you don't know what they're doing and they come in really fast. These bosses move fast as well. So it's knowing, just like a punch-out game, it's knowing what the boss is doing and his tell before he moves, because you're going to have to be jumping. For example, there's a boss who's climbing between two skyscrapers, and he's like leveraged between two skyscrapers, and he moves his arm very quickly to squash you. Well, when you know his tell, you can jump at the time before he even moves and get on top of his arm to shoot other parts of him. It's just a lot of fun. It's other bosses that kind of catch my attention was a 3-headed dog robot that you ended up climbing up the mouth of one dog, and as you're in the mouth, the teeth are closing, but he's got a couple of teeth missing, which then you got to get in between the gaps, and you climb up, and as you climb up through one head and up its neck, you get into the next dog's mouth and up, and you work your way to the top, then you work your way all down the back and blowing bits and pieces off of it as you're going down. So it's got spectacle, it's got colourful, it's controls, apart from that kind of slight floaty jump, which takes a little while to get used to, its controls are spot on flawless, just like in Gunman Clive. And if you kind of like that kind of contra boss battling shooter, this is a great little game.
Mm-hmm. So would you recommend for people like me who can only play in one player? Oh no.
Unfortunately, it's not online.
Unfortunately,
so
it's not.
Unfortunately, yeah, because that would help out a lot. For one paper, yes, and one of the reasons is because what we mentioned in the not sales data in the download delights is that Mechstermination Force is on sale at the moment for £5.
Oh wow! Okay, pence. Interesting. Yeah, I saw it in your video that you posted yesterday, and it looked like from first view, it looked very good actually. Looked quite interesting, so I might check that out.
And those are only in stills. I think it looks a little bit better when it's moving as well. It has got a style about it that is noteworthy. But have a look in the eShop, definitely.
Okay. Cool. Good stuff.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.